So once again at this time, folks, we are making our turnaround around the Y. Now, folks, let's talk about the directions for our train here today. Now, depending on where you're sitting on our train here today, your left and right may not be the same as the train's left or the train's right. And so to make things pointing out on our trip here today a bit more easier, we have two directions, train left and train right. Now, folks, your train left is our display yard. You see all those cars and locomotives down in the yard, that's your display yard, that's your train left. And then your train right is going to be where you'll see Grand Junction Station in just a few moments. So I will repeat that again just so that we can have that in our heads once more. But once again, now folks, once we clear the line, we'll head east. Now once again folks, talking about the directions again. Train left is that display yard down below us there, and then train right is where Grand Junction Station will be in just a moment. Now you might be wondering, why have I said these directions about 800? Gravel road you'll soon be seeing may seem a bit unimportant at first, but it does serve a purpose. This gravel road is the roadbed for this very line here today. As when our line we're traveling on here today was built originally in 1859, it was actually built below us rather than up here that it is today. So if you do see the gravel road below us there, keep in mind that's where our line used to be when it was built in 1859. So you'll see that in just a second. Now folks, there was a very good reason for why our line today is now at a higher elevation than it was originally when built. And that good reason was flooding. You see, before the construction of the Chickamauga Dam during the Great Depression, Chattanooga was very prone to flooding. One of the worst floods to hit the area is the Great Flood of 1867. Now folks, if you do still see the gravel road to the left of our train, in just a second you are going to see a sign. And next to that sign is going to be a tree which has a yellow line painted on it. This yellow line represents the high water mark from the Great Flood of 1867, which is at 9 feet above the ground. And so, since last I checked, trains cannot swim, there's a good reason why we're higher today. But speaking of water in the much more peaceful sense, we're just about to cross over bridge number 1 here today, over South Chickamauga Creek. Now, in the water below, you may happen to spot some creatures such as turtles, river otters, or geese. If you see those two bridges in the distance that have tracks on them, those are the tracks you see of the Western and Atlantic Railway, or the W&A. The Western and Atlantic was the first rail line into the city of Chattanooga, being built in 1850 by the state of Georgia. The tracks run today from Atlanta to Chattanooga, and are still owned today by the state of Georgia, who currently lease them out to the CSX Corporation. In addition, the line you see below us there was also the site of the great locomotive chase during the Civil War, though it did occur in a different area, not. So once again, folks, the Western and Atlantic, those tracks you see below us there, is over bridge now. Now, to the right of our train here today, folks, is going to be a place called Allied Metals. They are one of our local freight customers, and they additionally do allow us to store some of our excess equipment around the property. So, whilst we cruise on by past Allied Metals, now is the perfect time for me to talk to you about the cars you're riding on here today. Now, folks, if you're here today in car number 1, the first car of our train, and the one that I'm speaking out of, you are riding here today in Central Georgia number 390. built in 1947 by the American Car and Foundry for the Central Underground Railway. The 390 is what's referred to as a combine car, which means she's two sections. She, of course, is the passenger section, and at the very front of the car, there is an outdoor open-air vacuum section, which you're more than welcome to ride in if you like. If you're in cars number 2 or 3 here today, the middle and the last car, you're riding in sister cars. If you're riding in car number 2, the middle one, you are riding here today in Norfolk and Western number 1480, the Virginia Polytechnic Institute. And if you're in car number 3, the last car, you are riding here today in Norfolk and Western number 1486, the Randolph-Macon College. Both of those cars were built in 1949 by the Budd Company for the Norfolk and Western Railway, originally built as sleeping cars. Now, once we pass by Allied Metals, we're then headed to bridge number 3 today over Tunnel Boulevard. Now, originally, the road you will soon see below us would have had a massive tunnel underneath the rail line. Hence the reason the road below is called Tunnel Boulevard, because there was a tunnel above it. Now, when the Southern Railway, who originally ran the line before we did, would abandon it in the mid-1950s, reasons for which I'll explain just a bit, also known as the Whiteside Tunnel, nicknamed after Colonel James Anderson Whiteside. Now, this tunnel, built in 1858 and was finished the following year, is approximately 986 feet in length. It was also excavated by the use of picks and shovels, as dynamite had yet to be invented until 1867. It also became much more larger, therefore could no longer fit. And the second reason was that the tunnel was one-tracked, while the rest of the line originally was what is referred to as double-tracked. And what that would have created were major traffic jams at either end of the tunnel. So because that presented an issue, what the Southern Railway did was build a new line north, which bypasses this one altogether. If you are riding here today in the open-air section of car number 390, please do keep your arms, hands, feet, legs, children, relatives, and in-laws in the trains at all times if you're here today. Do keep what you brought with you. Now, folks, if you have your flashlight out on your cellular or mobile device, I do encourage you to have those up at this time. So what you can do here today, folks, is to push your phone up to your car windows and illuminate the tunnel walls within, to see both inside of them and to see just how close we are to the Whiteside Tunnel. Once again, folks, for those of you in the 390, please keep your arms, hands, feet, and legs inside the train. Now, folks, get ready today for 986 feet of pure man-made tunnel. Because right now, folks, it is tunnel time in Tennessee. Once again, folks, this is tunnel in Tennessee.
It's close.
Folks, we have now exited Whiteside Tunnel and are now traveling here today on the west side of Missionary Ridge. We are now in an area once formerly known as Sherman Heights. But with us being here today in Sherman Heights, it does also mean we are nearing our destination today of East Chattanooga. Now, as I did mention earlier, we will have two things here at East Chattanooga: our turntable demonstration as well as our back shop tour. I do encourage you all to come off the train and view these experiences, as we here today are one of the few places left in the world where you'll soon be seeing what's about to take place. So, Whilst you are welcome to stay on board the train, if you do so, you will be missing out. Now, should you need to use the restroom here today, we will have our depot open. It will be to the right of our train once we arrive. Once again, for actual working restrooms, our depot is open to only to the right upon our arrival. Now, for safety purposes here today, folks, do keep in mind that East Chattanooga is an active rail yard. So once again, folks, here, for your safety, do be cautious and on the lookout for any and all moving cars or locomotives. In addition, folks, we do have some rules we ask you to follow here today. We have 4 rules. Now, our first one here today is to please stay with your group at all times, as this is in fact a guided tour, so please do not wander off. Our second rule here today is to please stay on the paved pathway, so please do not wander onto any tracks, gravel, or ballast. Rule number 3 is to please do not climb on any equipment around the property, as climbing on equipment is considered a fire hazard. And also, if you do climb on something and then you proceed to fall off, I would laugh and therefore get myself fired. So try not to do that. And then finally, rule number 4 today, folks, is to, of course, have fun. But once again, folks, for your safety here today, please keep those first 3 rules I mentioned in mind. Please stay with your group at all times. Now please stay in your car at this time until we've come to a full stop at our depot, and we will then call you off. For directions to our turntable here today, folks, once you get off the train, you're going to take a left and then head straight on down to the turntable. Once again, for directions to our turntable, you'll head off, take a left, and then head straight on down. So once again, folks, stay in your car at this time, and welcome to East Chattanooga.
That's okay. How big? That work? Another one. Take one. Next. I know I did that too. Alrighty, 1, 2, 3. Am I slouching too? Am I? No.
Plenty of headroom in these.
Yeah.
Well, there's somebody in there. What else would they? The Reynolds car. Check out right next to Go ahead and come out.
You don't want to come out, sir? Oh, no, we're good.